Welcome to season 2 of I Woke Up Like This. It has been quite a bit of time since I have released some episodes. So today we're going to get caught up and we're going to talk about the era of authenticity. It's been about a year and a half since I've released any episodes, and that break was very much needed because first and foremost, I wrote a book, and that book is being published by Hay House next year. And I'm so excited to share it with you. It is literally the blueprint to awakening that I wish I had when I went through the process. The time off also allowed me to integrate many, many layers of myself and anchor more deeply into my authenticity so that I can share from an even more authentic frequency and vibration with you. I'm so happy to be back, and I'm so happy you're here. So what is the era of authenticity? It's the time where all the masks get pulled off. All of the performing that we as individuals do and the world at large is beginning to be exposed. So if you've been acting one way and you know deep down you're another, now is the perfect time to embrace who you really are. So we're shifting as individuals, but the collective overall is shifting as well. Because for a long time, we've all been operating under the guidelines of performance. We were rewarded for pretending to be something that we weren't. And as a collective, we're shifting away from that. So you're going to see this all over the place. You're going to see it with influencers. You're going to see it with friends, with family, in workplaces, and on the national stage. Whatever's been hiding in the dark will come to light. So it's a perfect time to really get your house in order because the web of manipulation is being dismantled, which means the future currency is authenticity, is truth, and its integrity. The vibration you emit changes dramatically when you stand in authenticity and when you stand in integrity. It increases the power of you. So keep in mind that while there are still a lot of falsities about this world that are in the process of being exposed, your job is to root in your authenticity and integrity and move from that space. And that alone will keep you from being dismantled in the unveiling of what everything really is. Because in this era, you're going to feel energy first. So what that means is that if you meet somebody, you're going to feel who they are before they tell you who they are. And in order to have success in this area, you are going to need to move from alignment based on energy. So as you're moving through the world, be honest about who you are. And that's why I'm so excited that this is now the beginning of season 2 of I Woke Up Like This, because we have an opportunity here to have these discussions about how to move forward in authenticity and integrity and how to be real about it. Because if we're being honest, we've all approached situations from an angle in the past, whether it be presenting yourself a certain way, hoping people will like you, or engaging with certain people and social circles because you think it's going to give you a leg up, and people pleasing everyone around you so that you can keep the peace. We've all done all of these things, but now is the time for you to embrace the realness of who you are. You don't have to people please anymore. And you don't have to surround yourself with people you don't like just to get a leg up, because the circle that you're meant to be in when you stand in alignment finds you. It's easy. You're never going to get to where you're meant to be if you're faking who you are. So learn to embrace the feeling of alignment. If you meet someone and there's no analytical reason as to why it feels off, but something feels off, just stop moving towards it. Because when it's not in alignment, it simply disappears. Allow yourself to accept whatever that is for you. And sometimes that's the hardest part, because alignment doesn't care what you want. It cares about who you are and who you're meant to be. So allow yourself to align with the truth of your experience. We're also going to see the collapse of the persona, the perfectly curated Instagram influencer who's filtered to hell and back. And doesn't even look like them. You wouldn't even recognize them on the street. The politicians who say one thing and do another. All of it is collapsing. All of it is being unmasked. And that's why the safest thing you can do in this era of authenticity is be yourself. Be true to who you really are. Because if you're putting some curated image of yourself out into the world, it is going to get shown for what it really is. I myself have even had to learn that. I've never landed where I was meant to land by pretending to be somebody else, pretending to be something that I'm not. And I hope you're about to be sick of me, the real me, all of me. Because even for the last couple of years, I have shared a very curated what I like to call flashlight version of myself. It's very real. That is a very focused lens of who I am. And now it's time to be more of a lantern. It's time to share the integrated lessons that I've learned, the things that I have been through that will likely connect with you and where you are. But I held back for a while because I found myself letting out too much and then having to pull it all the way back in. And I'm at a point where I understand the balance. I understand that I'm able to share real lived experiences with you once they're integrated, because I'm not meant to put myself up for public consumption until I understand fully the entire emotional process that I had to go through to transmute the energy of the people, places, and situations that I've had to move through. So in season 2, you're going to get to know me a little bit better. You're going to get to know where I came from and the things that I've overcome, because I am walking on this path with you. I understand what it's like to give up people, places, and things that you truly love because they simply aren't aligned with where you're going. I know what it feels like to feel like the odd man out, odd woman out. All the time. I have a very small circle these days, and it's intentional because I only keep those that are really soul family, which, as it turns out, eliminated a lot of people. I want you to excel in this era. I want you to own who you really are. I want you to be proud of who you are. And I want you to be fearless when it comes to not being accepted in places and spaces, because you know deep down you are part of a larger community that is doing a lot of work on this planet right now. Work that is healing. Work that transmutes energy, because you are the alchemist every time you heal. Every time you anchor in more of your energy, the world becomes a brighter, more beautiful place. Because in the era of authenticity, healing is no longer fringe. Regulating your nervous system is the key to your success. It is increasingly becoming very mainstream to understand how to move through this world based on energy, based on alignment, and tuning into yourself, your intuition, and your connection to source more and more every single day. Science is finally catching up to the spirituality piece. I just saw a study earlier today that showed if you give a mushroom a robotic body, it learns how to crawl. Think about that for a minute. Think about the connectivity we really have access to and what that means for this world when we really start to tap in. That is the era of authenticity, because when you are being authentic, you are connected to source. You are connected to your soul. This is the era we've all been waiting for. You're literally here in one of the most transformative times on the planet. Embrace it. I know one of the things I'm most excited for is the fact that I know I talk to leaders. I talk to leaders who are healing themselves. And they're not leading in the ways of the old world. They're leading in the ways of the new world. They're putting their energy first. They're transmuting generations of dense energy. And they are watching the world change around them because of the work that they're doing on themselves. That is how you lead in this new space. Because I know if you're listening to this podcast, you feel like there's something bigger you're supposed to do. And you absolutely are, but it's not going to look like it used to. Because what the world considered big things were materialistic. This is energetic. This is an impact that ripples through time and space. This isn't about amassing items or clout. It's about being connected to source so much that you spread unconditional love by simply being in a room. You don't have to analytically think your way through the big thing that you're meant to do. You have to simply align with the authenticity of who you are at a level that you never have before. And you will energetically do the big things that will manifest into this world physically without having to do anything other than be yourself and walk in your alignment. And how cool is that? How cool is that the big thing you feel like you're pulled to do is actually being yourself. You don't have to become anyone other than you. Now is your time. You are here because your light is needed. And your purpose is going to show itself. You don't need a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan or any of the very analytical steps and processes that we used to run our lives by, because I let all of that stuff go, and that's what's putting me in front of you right now. That is what every person that has got to the peak of their authenticity while they're here has done. They let go of logic. Logic can be a helper, but it's not the leader. Energy leads. And that's a big thing to understand in the era of authenticity. Being real is more important than being perfect. And that's why I showed up today, episode 1, season 2, with no script, no pre-planned agenda. I simply dropped in to a quiet space and asked what I should talk about today. And this is it. And that's how we're moving from here on out. Because when energy leads, you access the bridge that faith creates. The entire world is being put through a series of massive, massive changes. And you're experiencing that on an individual level. Change is the liminal space. Change is the unknown. So to maximize your experience, you're gonna want to get comfortable with things changing frequently. The more comfortable you get, the less attachment you have to people, places, things, experiences, the more your alignment will show up. The more you will feel higher vibrational experiences. You will have more joy, more ease, more bliss in your life when you learn to let go of rules, regulations, and what you think should be. Because when you hold on to those things, you create a lot of resistance in your life. And this particular era and time, with the way the energy is presenting itself, yes, you created resistance in the past, but now you're creating even more for yourself. So let go of who you thought you should be and ask yourself who you really are and what you really want. Sit in your energy, because only you can be you. You're the best one at it. And Source is wanting to experience the authenticity of all of these individual experiences. You are a unique fractal of Source. You are unique in everything and everyone at the same time. No one lives your exact life but you. So remember that Source is experiencing life through you. Have gratitude and reverence for that. You're not a mistake. You're not late to anything. You're remembering who you really are and where you really came from. Allow your masks to fall. Be so deeply aligned in your authenticity and your integrity that you move from that space even when no one is watching, in every moment, in every day. And if you feel like you don't know who you are, what you want to walk towards, it's your job to sit with yourself long enough to figure out what the next step is. Because you only need one step. The next one will simply show up after that. But the era of thinking about what everyone else wants, needs, and where they need you to be is over. You need to make time for yourself, whether that's 5 minutes or 5 hours. It needs to be a priority, because your presence is your message. It is how you are speaking to the world. It is how you are magnetizing things to you. The era of authenticity is not about going out and getting things with a 10-point plan. It is about anchoring in your frequency so hard that everything shows up right in front of you. That doesn't mean that you're absolved of taking any action, because when something shows up in front of you, you likely have to take an action, an aligned, messy action most of the time. You're required to feel your way through it. If it feels in alignment, you walk towards it. You don't push, you don't chase, you simply stroll in that direction. You already have everything that you need, because the attention that you're putting everywhere else belongs on you. Because if you are performing, people pleasing, or pretending to be anything other than yourself, you are not standing in integrity and you are not standing in your authenticity. So if you want to unlock your manifestations, be real with yourself and the world about who you really are and what you really want. Let go of the fear of saying what you want. When you allow yourself to own who you really are, the people, places, and spaces and opportunities show up. And it's time that you believe that that is true. So welcome back to I Woke Up Like This. If you made it this far, drop me a star emoji in the comments. If you're listening on the audio platforms, I would love if you left me a 5-star review and download the episode so that you can listen to it whenever and wherever you are. As always, you can find me on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Dr. Claudia Thompson. I only have one account on all platforms. Please do not get scammed. I do not reach out to people for readings. And I'm so happy to be back, and I'm so happy you're here. I love you. You've got this. Keep going.